The SNES Classic Edition was finally announced, but with only 21 games instead of 30, is it as good a deal as the NES Classic Edition? Let's discuss! So with the 30 games I had to pick for the console, I guess I was a little bit off, mainly with the assumption that there'd be 30 games. But I guess Nintendo only wanted the very best instead of just throwing random shit on there for the sake of doing it like they did with the NES Classic Edition. Cough noise balloon fight. The big news seems to be that the previously unreleased Star Fox 2 was tossed in the mix, which is super cool for Nintendo to do and will be a big selling point. In order to unlock Star Fox 2 though, you have to beat the first level of Star Fox 1, which is a bit odd, but my guess as to why they would do that is probably because I don't think Star Fox 2 has a tutorial, and we already have Star Fox 2 ROMs out there, so Nintendo knows we'd call them out for modifying the original. Plus, it's not even worth the effort to do that. Star Fox 2 being unreleased and all makes it kind of feel like a forbidden fruit, so casual people who've never played the original would probably play that and unfairly judge it without knowing what they're doing. Either that, or this is just another case of Nintendo doing everything ass backwards. Other than that, though, the choices for this list are super solid, and there's not one bad game in the mix. 30 would have been a more solid number, but I guess they were thinking 20 with Star Fox 2 being a bonus game. Donkey Kong Country being on here is pretty much mandatory, but I wish they'd put the second game on here as well, since I think it's just an ass hair better. With Microsoft owning Rare, though, Nintendo probably didn't want to go overboard including their games. But you can't not have Donkey Kong Country be included, so they had to let the whole Rare Microsoft bullshit slide, at least for this game. As far as other developers are concerned, though, it's worth noting that there's fewer third-party games on here than there were on the NES Classic Edition. Probably because there's fewer games in general, but I wonder if Nintendo just didn't feel like paying royalties this time around. I mean, they left all their good first-party titles in there. They could have easily bumped the number of games up to 30 with more third-party involvement, but that'd have also meant sharing a bigger slice of the pie, so Nintendo probably thought, frig that. Mega Man X, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Street Fighter II Turbo, Castlevania 4, Final Fantasy 3, Secret of Mana, and Contra 3 are amazing choices. But I'm most interested in the inclusion of Super Mario RPG, mainly because it shines a little hope on the possibility of a sequel. I know they've released this game on the Virtual Console before, but I count this as a physical re-release, so maybe it'll get people talking and the higher-ups coming up with new ideas. There's literally no reason not to make a sequel for the Switch, but now I'm getting off track. Obviously, Super Mario World and A Link to the Past would be included, being some of the best games ever made, but literally everybody knows that. I know Super Metroid is as good, if not better than those two games, but the casual person doesn't know that, and if this console's stocked well enough for people to actually be able to get a hold of it, then the world's in for a treat as long as they have enough patience to get through it. But Super Metroid is well designed and doesn't have cryptic bullshit and dead ends like the original Metroid had on the NES. F-Zero's great, but people will probably just play Super Mario Kart based on nostalgia alone. I'd say they should include online features, but that'll probably be saved for the Switch, and the console's only $80 anyway. Not to mention the aforementioned split royalties between the third-party developers involved, so we can't expect too much more. Besides, there's something nice about local multiplayer anyway, and this is a nostalgia-based novelty anyway, so the idea is that it needs to feel like the original console. As for the rest of the games on this list, Yoshi's Island, Super Punch-Out, Kirby Superstar, and Kirby's Dream Course are fantastic, but Earthbound being included is what really hit it out of the park for me. I really hope people play this, not because I want the series to continue, because it never will, but because it's a shame people missed out on it the first time. Yeah, it's on the Virtual Console, but only people who've heard about it being praised on YouTube will actually try it out. The problem this game had was that nobody would buy it, not that nobody would play it necessarily. And what I mean by that is a little boy in a yellow shirt isn't necessarily a selling point. The game's fantastic, it's just that nobody wanted to pay money to give it a chance. For casual people buying SNES Minis who probably don't even know what this game is, they'll likely start it up with the intent on only playing it for a few minutes. But the great part about this game is that it draws you in right off the bat, not only with a great opening screen, but with a great opening sequence as well. Some people might get turned off by the difficulty, but I'm sure there'll be a few new fans of the series by the end of the year. I mean, it's not the greatest game ever made. In fact, it might not even be the best RPG to be included on this mini console. It's just that Earthbound's too unique for it to not be more well known than it is. It does make me wonder why Earthbound Beginnings wasn't included on the NES Classic Edition though. I mean, it's better than at least 10 of the games on there. Going back to RPGs though, most casual people probably don't have the patience for them. But if you want to play every game included on here, then you're gonna get way more than your money's worth, despite there being 9 fewer games in the NES Classic Edition. Why Chrono Trigger wasn't included though is anybody's guess. The console itself looks exactly like we thought it would, so there's not really much to talk about there. Although the box is super cool, and it's great that we get 2 controllers. What's interesting though, and absolutely fucked, is that apparently according to Polygon, the Super Famicom Mini won't have a power adapter included with it. If that's true, then all I can say about the thinking behind this tomfuckery is that it's more scummy and off-putting than on-disc DLC. Thankfully I live in North America though, and my console will come with, I guess, a 3DS charger. Anyway, I think it's great and fun that Nintendo's releasing this, as long as they make more to keep up with demand. This is an unpopular opinion, but I don't blame scalpers for scalping one bit. I blame Nintendo for enabling them. So just make enough Super Nintendo Minis to go around and give us another run at the NES Classic while you're at it, and I'm a happy little boy. What do you think of the game selection, though? Let me know down below, and click right there to see the 30 games I'd have included. Don't forget to give us a dirty little like and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.